Oh, it's good to hear your voice there, Mr. Sposto.
Well, again, if you listen to podcasts, you'd hear my voice all the time, but you don't listen to podcasts, especially not this week.
Right, because what is it? Dead whatever is back again, or
yeah, I didn't see nothing announced in the Facebook group about No Salty Keith show this week.
I know they said that they were moving it and they were going to get. I don't know, whatever. He talks about it, and I find it funny. So.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't want to say that he's doing the podcast under duress, but I feel as though he's doing literally anything.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like, I honestly think the family's trying to get his legacy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's kind of the mind of like, let me just go play my game and, I'll write a comic if they want me to, but I'm kind of retired,
Right. So this was last what would have been last Monday, right?
Right.
It says the plan had been to record and release an episode of the podcast. Unfortunately, I fancied playing Dead Island 2 all afternoon, and I didn't get around to it. So tomorrow is the day for episode 4, and that means we get to talk about the big blue guy.
Right. That would be Lobo.
Oh, okay.
Even though he was white originally, and I don't know where he transitioned into blue. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I know when they would do his white, they would always do him with kind of a blue
tinge
outline, or a tinge to him, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But definitely in Omega Men 3, where he first appeared, he was white. He was chalk white.
But I always assumed he was just a bluish white, more white than blue. But then it just says, "Hit me up with your questions, and I'll do my best to work them in." And then there was no podcast.
Probably more Dead Island 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Two.
No comments. And then somebody just puts in there, it's like, I didn't know you were a gamer. And he says, I've been a gamer since day one.
He's a big Pong guy.
Yeah, that's what everybody was making the joke.
I don't even have to read it. My writers are the same, apparently.
Yeah. But no episode this past week. Wah,
Yeah, so no podcast for me to listen to,
Yeah, the one that you listened to didn't come out, so.
Yep. Yeah. I'm the jinx. It's me. Get that Taylor Swift song on. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Have you know that one?
Say that again.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I don't know. There's some song that's the new Taylor Swift hit that's sweeping the nation, Joe.
I'm gonna need to call Marcus for an audible on that one. I don't know nothing about no Taylor Swift.
It's everywhere. I can't get away from it. So
I know she grew up on a tree farm, a Christmas tree farm in the Lehigh Valley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably goes to all the drive-ins and the Sokals and stuff like that.
No, goodness. She stays far, far away from any of that sort of stuff.
Right. It's, the name of the song is Anti-Hero. And the line goes, let me see if I can find it. I'm the one. No, I lost it. So I'm done. I can't multitask today, Joe. I'm tired.
And again, listen, I make no bones about me being out of touch. I know there's a video of her and a boy communicating with each other. They're in adjacent houses, and they're holding up signs to each other, right?
Sure.
I know that video exists, but if you said, what's the song that's in that video? What's the name of the song in that video? Or could you hum a few bars? I'd be done.
I'm with you. I only know, I know the catchy part of it, and I actually found the right song now. That's what I was on the wrong one. It goes, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. So I'm I kind of understand this song, Joe.
That's deep.
It is deep. Taylor Swift is the deepest musician going right now, as far as I'm concerned. She replaces Avril Lavigne, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing on that. I just, like I said, if it wasn't in everything, every time I turn on the radio to listen to the news, like I'll be on the wrong station. I'm like, it's there. It's just like bombarding me.
See, if you listen to podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
you don't hear the music that's out there in the world, but then you also don't hear the news. So, 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
That's true. I like to hear the weather. And I will say, I think we talked about this. I'm a big, like, I think out of the two of us, now, granted, not Taylor Swift and pop, but out of the two of us, I'm the one who keeps up on music more, like I said, because I'll do stuff and have Pandora on in the background, and regardless of whatever genre you'll listen to, they'll give you a new artist who kind of sounds like that.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh, okay, this band, I found this band, and I found that band. And that's kind of what I like to do. But music on the radio, no.
I don't need to find no new bands. I got Foo Fighters, and that's about it.
They got a new album coming out.
They do have a new album coming out next month. That's right.
Yep. So you're all set to get your newest shiny album off there.
Yeah. The single came out, I think, last week or whatever, and you mentioned about local radio, whatever, 97.9?
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, oh, new Foo Fighters, whatever, and we're going to play the song every hour at the top of the hour for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that takes me back,
Yeah.
when they would do that, when like the new hit song would come out and they're just going to like hammer it, everybody was playing it.
Right.
Payola. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, and you hit the, what is it? You hit it on the 10s, and then you do top of the hour, the new song. We could do it all, Joe.
Maybe.
Yep. But other than that, I haven't, been really doing anything. 'Cause I know you're going to ask me, because you're the closer on this episode, I think. Basically, all I did this week was I did more organizing of my comics.
Nice.
Which I don't have it in front. I do have it. Last I look, I'm around 10,000 cataloged comics.
Ooh, you got me beat, man.
Right, and I have like 7 or 8 more short boxes to go, so I'll have a tally when it's all said and done. I slowed down because I was doing some stuff. And also I slowed down from lifting boxes where my back is now shot, and I think my sciatica is acting up again.
There you go.
But I was so hard selling the app at the shop recently that I'm like, I want them to be a sponsor. I can literally endorse this app all day, every day.
Well, I picked up I picked up 2 more for our comp list by updating the list that I send out. I would get into a point where I would just like, oh, like we'd lost Oni and we got Oni back, and we got a Blaze on the thing, and then Ahoy is covered by a whole bunch of different ones,
Right.
But we got Oni back, we got a Blaze, and Ahoy is one of the newer ones. Still get Valiant, but Valiant only puts out 1 book a month. And then,
yeah. They're just waiting for that Quantum and Woody TV show to put them on the map.
Yeah, but I haven't pushed to a non-comic publisher in a while. Like just for like some sort of thing like that.
Right.
Let me see
if CLZ has a.
Well, I know their thing is called Collectors with a Z.
Right.
Do they have a contact us? No, they don't want you to contact them, it looks
Their
like.
app sells itself.
Yeah. Let me look.
There's not much I'm good at. I could probably sling that to people,
Mm-hmm.
It sells itself. Like I said, at $14 a year, please.
Yeah. Oh, they have like a form that you could fill out on their website. Okay, I could do that later.
Right. And unless you have any other questions about my collection.
No, 10,000 seems about right. And then if you have like what you said, 6 or 7 more short boxes
that I know of, and then stuff that it's on the side that if I'm gonna organize it. It's for to sell. You know what I mean? Like I have like stuff that's like, oh, one random comic here, and I tried a miniseries, but I never finished it, kind of a deal. So
yeah,
a couple runs. So we'll do that. And the only other thing was I did the world's smallest doll safari with your other co-host this week. I went to Monstars up here by my house, and then we went over to BAM. We went over to that bookstore because they changed times over there. And I was like, oh, while we're here at Macy's, I've heard, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, that there's a Toys R Us in Macy's at the Viewmont Mall.
No, I know that they would have like a pop-up in some Macy's. I didn't know that ours did.
Ours does, and I called it like, I'll basically call it like a Toys R Us Express. It's really small.
Yeah.
But it's there, and they have like Funko Pops, and they had like a bunch of Batman figures from the last movie. So it's like, but I was just curious because I had went to get something done, and I was sitting there with somebody, and two people were talking. They're like, yeah, I just bought an action figure for my kid up at the Toys R Us in Macy's. And I was like, what? This was like 6 months ago. And they're like, yeah, there's a Toys R Us in Macy's. And I was like, well, how big is it? I don't know. To me, it's big, kind of a deal. So I was like, okay, I need to get up there. And I never did. And then when Adam was like, oh, we're going into BAM, I'm like, well, I could throw a stone from where we're parked and hit Macy's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go in. I mean, we were in there 40 seconds to look at it, but it was my curiosity. So I was like, oh, they do have a pop-up in here. And that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they have they'll have a lot of chase figures, you know, and I can go steal them there. I don't know.
Or the fact that nobody knows that it's there.
Yep.
There's a better chance that there's shit there. I remember there was a period of time where Kohl's would have like weird stuff, and like just randomly, it's like old WWE elites that are like way long out of print, but like for whatever reason they're just at Kohl's, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marshalls, I remember early, like maybe pre-pandemic, there was like figures that were like super rare that hadn't been seen anywhere in the United States, and the only places that they were popping up was like Marshalls of all places.
Right. Where's a Marshalls?
There's a Marshalls outside, like up Wyoming Valley Mall way if you're headed toward the Target.
Okay.
There's the plaza there where Ren Fixtures is. It's like a dying little plaza there.
I got you. I don't think there's any up my way. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. If you had asked me to name a store that began with M, Marshalls wouldn't have been on my list.
No.
Yeah, I don't even know like what the I'm thinking I'm hearing of Marshalls for the first time from you right now.
Really?
It just doesn't ring a bell for me.
No. It's just kind of like, and it's like kind of like maybe a step up from a TJ Maxx.
I know TJ Maxx, that one.
Yeah, I think it's like the same company that owns them.
Yeah, bring back Hills, so you'll be happy.
I wish.
Get some of that cheap popcorn and go get your toys, right?
Well, again, you'd walk around, you'd go, depending on what arcade games were in the front vestibule, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was more of a Sugarman's guy myself, so.
Sugarman's too much of a hike.
Yeah, but like for you, right? You mean?
Yeah.
But for me, back in the day, Sugarman's was the precursor to Walmart, man. It had everything. It was like, to me, it was like, instead of like having Walmart stores, like Einan could have been the home of like the Sugarman's like empire if it had kept going, if the sun didn't run it into the ground.
So what is there now?
It's a dirt mall. It's a dirt flea market.
Is it still called Sugarman's or is it something else?
It might have Sugarman's on the thing, but it's like, I'm not 100% sure what it is, but they have like booths set up and tables and a lot. Some people built like wood frames for their area, so with chicken wire so they can lock them at night. You know what I mean? But basically it's a weekend flea market.
Yeah, it says it claims that it still exists. It says that it's Sugarman's Marketplace at fleamarketmalls.com.
Yep. And then down the other end, there was
a website where it comes up and it says page not found.
Right. But down the other end, there was a small market and like a Coast Tires or a brake thing or whatever, but it was a garage. And they had a mine subsidence in the parking lot. And they had to shut that end of the Sugarman's down. It's closed right now. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm going to go up the dirt mall and hopefully I don't fall into the mine.
Yeah. Well, just don't go to that part of the parking lot.
That is true. You don't want to end up, mining for coal around here, even though there's none left. So that's everything for me. How was your week?
It was all right. And then, then Tuesday or Monday or whatever the fuck day it was, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I got into a car accident this week and it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Nobody's hurt, which is the most important thing. It's just a pain in the ass to have to deal with. And it's a day removed, so I'm doing much better regarding everything. But I was bringing my kid home from piano, and it was, it was like 8:30-ish, maybe a little bit before, like 8:15-ish,
Right.
So it was dark. And it was raining real bad. And again, I'm not like I'm stating facts. I'm not making excuses. And I was driving my wife's car, and I'm not used to driving my wife's car all that much. It's just that was the one that was like first in the driveway,
Mm-hmm.
And she has a whole bunch of like fancy shit in her car. It's a 2020, but again, that's new to me, right?
No, I get you.
Like it'll have like there had been times where we had been on the road going somewhere, and like I was just a passenger in the car. And it would do that thing where it would, like, if it was starting to, like, think that it was hydroplaning, it would start to, like, readjust pressure to different wheels,
Yeah, Ugh.
And when it would do that, like, a thing would pop up on the display, on the dash, and it would make, like, a crazy noise,
Mm-hmm.
And even as a passenger, like, what the fuck's going on, right? Okay. So we're coming home. We're maybe a quarter a mile away from my house. We had passed the, where you get the good onion pizza.
Yep.
If you're leaving there headed toward my house, and there's like right before the Burger King, there's an overpass.
Okay.
And then there's like a little little small mall that's like a pizza place, a nail salon, a barbecue place, whatever. It was like right there. Person was turning into that. They had their turn signal on. And I hit the brakes to slow down, and the thing for the hydroplane thing happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then the entire dash like turned red, and it started saying brake. And I feel like, and again, I was talking about it, and I couldn't get the wording of it right, but I feel like less. Because I reacted poorly in that situation, you know? If it wasn't my wife's car, if my kid wasn't in the car, I wouldn't feel as bad as I do. And, so it happened. And like, I was just like that split second reaction time. It wasn't enough. I turned the wheel. I ended up hitting the back of their car, like along the side. And I like completely fucked up the headlight and the side panel and like part of the front grille on my wife's car. Like, luckily, like there's no hood damage or nothing. Like we lifted the hood and everything's fine, but it's pretty smashed up. I put a picture up on social media. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't, whatever.
Yep, I did.
But it still sucks. The insurance stuff is moving through. There's a body shop. Literally, if I go out in front of my house and turn left, I can see where the body shop is, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's just one of those things where now we did the claims people called me. I did the full statement. They're like, okay, we're going to send you an estimate. When insurance people send me the estimate, I send the estimate over to the body shop. They order whatever parts it is that they need. They send the price back to the insurance people. The insurance people pay it. I pay my deductible, which again is only $250 bucks, but hey, that's in my weekly purchases, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then it's done. And it's one of those things where, like, the car doesn't need to sit there. The guy's like, there's no reason for it to sit here. I don't have the parts. Nothing's been approved yet. He goes, you live literally right there, you know? So when all this is done, just bring the car over. And, like, it's drivable, but it still sucks.
No, I get you.
You know, like I said, I feel like I really fucked up. And I know, you know, my wife is bummed about it because it's her car and it's the new car. And, you know, it just sucks. It makes me feel like shit. And I was kind of like shaken up about it yesterday and a little bit even this morning. Like I said, 24 hours removed, I feel better, whatever. You know, but I think I've been in like 3 accidents my whole life where I was the driver.
Right.
And, you know, like, it just sucks. This is my fault, you know? And it was like me not interacting with the technology of that car fucked me up.
Right. No, I get you. There's a lot to go. There's a lot of confusing stuff in new cars. I mean, we are old, but I'm with you. It's like, and there's stuff, because when I got my truck, there's stuff that I really liked. Like, I'm in the old days, I was a mirror guy, but now, like, a backup camera is like my best friend. I love that, but like anything, me and my father, like, always had, my family at least, always had, like, the more that a car does, regardless of, like, whether it's trying to help you or they're going to computerize something, the more it has, the more that can go wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if just not even like what you're talking about where it messes with your driving, but it's just of the mind, like, if you have a heated seat, the only thing it could do is break. You know what I mean? Like, and then it just becomes a regular seat. Or like all that stuff. Like, oh, here's all these like fancy gauges, and it's like back in the old days, you had a car, you know, it was all mechanical parts. You could just go. But you get what I'm trying to say? Like, they just made it so complicated that all I want is 4 wheels that go at this point.
Right. And, you know, I know when, you know, the car has a backup camera. And I know when my wife first got it, she's like, I'll never use this backup camera. And she uses it all the time now. Because she's always in the car. And then I'm in the car, but I rarely drive the car. So I never use the backup camera. And the far and few between times where I'm driving and my wife is in the car, she's like, how come you're not using the backup camera? I'm like, because I don't use, you know what I mean? My car don't have no backup camera. My car's a 2011 piece of shit with crank windows, you know? Right.
Now, by not using the backup camera, because I'm just curious, does that mean you just don't look at it? Or do you have to turn yours on?
No, so it automatically comes on once you start backing up.
Right. Okay.
But I use the mirrors and I look behind me and, you know.
You know, for me, what I really like is because I have a really high pickup truck. And I'll be in parking lots and I have the tailgate. And so, like, if somebody has a sports car or something, like, you know how, like, if you're parked somewhere and somebody will be, like, behind you, and you could see, like, in a car or whatever, you're like, oh, I look out the back window and I see a person at the same height as I am. Well, I've actually backed out and hit somebody with my pickup truck because when I look out the back mirror, they're below the tailgate, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And if it's a smaller car, it's not as wide as my pickup truck.
Yeah.
So I can't see it all. So that backup camera, I'm like, okay, that helps me out a lot. But I was of the mind, like, I'm not going to use it. And then as soon as I started put it in R for reverse, it's like, oh, the camera's there. Now I'm looking at it. And now, as a detriment, I don't use the mirrors as much, if that makes any sense. I'm like, you become reliant on one or the other. You should really, like, use the best of both worlds on those.
Yep.
But and I know you're shaking up, and I get it, because when you break your car or somebody else's car, it puts you off. But it seems like you have the handle on it. I will say you explained the insurance aspect of it very well, so you have that under control.
Right.
But I just say, it doesn't help either. But relax, everybody's okay. Ace is okay. You're okay. Walk it off, kind of a deal, and hopefully, like, each day will get a little bit better.
Yep. Like I said,
I get why you're like it is, though.
What was that?
I get why you're like you are when that happens. Like, I can't even imagine because I don't have a kid, but I get it.
So that's it. That's After Dark, everybody.
All right.
Oh my goodness. All right. Hey, that was After Dark, 442. Patreon coming up this week. And oh, you know what? Fuck you'll flip for previews.
Oh boy, Joe.
Todd, it's every 2 fucking pages. Spoilers for previewing the past this week.
Spoilers, it don't slow down for the rest of the
Jesus
year,
fucking
Joe.
Christ. Come on.
That's all.
It was insulting. There's one in particular where, like, they do it as, like, a full bottom page. It's like the full bottom third of the page.
Yeah, it's like they don't have anything to go there, so they eye up the page and just run. You'll flip for previews, right? A banner. That's not an icon. That's a banner across the bottom. And that's the one that I was like, oh boy, when Joe sees that, he's gonna flip for that previews, ad.
Man. So, the Patreon show will be up this week. $5 folks, you're listening to this in the correct listening order. Of course, you'll get Previewing Fast this weekend. If you're not a $5 person, that's okay because you'll get Swamp Thing 2 this weekend, right?
Yep.
And then, you get this. You still get to check out the Previews catalog, which I did put up today. Previews is real weird where it does, like I can't put the whole catalog up in full, right?
Right.
I usually have to do it in like chunks of like 30 to 50 pages.
Yep, it's the way I scan it, so that works out.
Okay. Once I get to 300 pages, I then literally have to do it page by page.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
so now
that wasn't a problem 3 months ago.
Right. Well, I wasn't 300 pages, was it?
Right. Exactly, because I never knew. I just did them in the 30 to 50 chunks. We're good to go. Whatever. And now it's like as soon as I get to 300, and then I'm like, oh, here's another 30, or here's another whatever. And it comes up saying, and it just immediately comes up a red bar across the thing and says, your upload has failed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's do 20. Your upload has failed. Let's do 10. Your upload has failed. Let's do 1. Well,
Congratulations.
Right. So.
And you were the guy. Who was telling.
That
was my phone. We started early.
We never start early. We always start on time.
Yeah, but what was I going to say? And you were the guy who was like, "Hey, let me add, get those extra Marvel pages in. A little extra meat on the bone," was the quote you gave me.
The full preview catalog there,
Well, that's right. Now you got 30 some extra pages to add one at a time, Joe.
This month it was 43 extra pages, but who's counting?
But I laugh at that now, but it's just but I get it. So at least, it's all up there though.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, so the Patreon, of course, the eBay store, which is a whole, thing. I'm not going to read the disclaimer here. I read the disclaimer on add-ons. I don't read the disclaimer here. TeePublic store. And hey, the store link on our main page for like shirts and pins and stickers is fixed.
Right.
And we talked about that, or we'll talk about that on the main show, but yeah.
You're listening to the soon-to-be named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.